Are you psyched for what the Bears are cooking right now?
You know,
Joe,
I'm always
what?
psyched for what the Bears are cooking, what the Cubs are cooking, what the Sox, the Blackhawks. But I temper my excitement because I've been around long enough that, you know, why do that and then punish yourself later? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it all sounds good, but just the same thing even with the Cubs now.
Yeah.
People go, hey, see what they did yesterday? I said, no, you don't understand. It's only May. I said, I don't even pay attention till like late August, early September, maybe.
How are you watching a Bears game? Are you chill? Are you relaxed? Do you get a little animated? Or like, what is your...
With the Bears?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I'm not as animated as I used to be. Let's put it that way, because I think I've learned my lesson. I was like, you know, but, you know, 85 did so much for all of us that it was like...
Of course.
Same thing with the Cubs with 2016. It was like, okay, we got it. It's in the pocket. We have it. We can enjoy that.
Right.
Don't get crazy.
Yeah.
Because you may not get another shot in your lifetime. But we'll see.
Right. We will, you know, obviously it's tough to call, but there is, you know, good cause for optimism. There really is.
Yeah, no, I think so too. And I keep hearing, especially from the guys who are like, you know, live and die for it. And like every second, I just can't, I have to go, okay, all right, I'm with you.
You got a lot going on, though, Joe. Again, this is season 18 of your show here.
Yeah,
so
exactly. And I can't expect to win on every front, so we'll see.
I think it's season 100 for the Bears or something like that, or season 102. So I've asked you this before, but we have a new audience here on the Roku channel since you've, I think, last appeared. The famous Swerski Brothers sketch. Like, how was that presented to you? You were the host one night?
I was asked to host Saturday Night Live, and Robert Smigel, who was, you know, was one of the writers at the time, had come up with this idea. Said, well, you know, you're a Bears fan, right? I go, of course. You know, he said, well, I got this sketch. We want to do this thing, you know, with the Swerski Brothers. You'll be Bob, and you know, you'll talk about your brother who's not there because he had a heart attack, which all made sense. It was like, so I thought, well, hey, this would be fun. This would be great.
Right.
So we do the thing, and I'm thinking, great. The people in Chicago are going to probably love this, and that'll be that. But I think I had to go to Chicago about a few days later, as it turned out. And when I get there, that's all people were talking about. They said they were running that skit like 24 hours on the radio and this and that. And there were already billboards going up within months saying the Bears, the Bulls, the Cubs, the DePaul University. They were putting "the" in front of everything that was Chicago that they could think of.
Yes.
And so, of course, then George Wendt then hosted it a couple of weeks later. And of course, they made him my brother. And they would always ask me to come in whenever George would do it.
Yes.
But George had been off Cheers then and was like, for him, it was great. And he was living in Chicago, just fly to New York. I was working. I couldn't, you know, jump on a plane and keep flying to New York. So he'd always say, yeah, my brother Bob's not here because he had another heart attack. And then finally I did one more because I happened to be free. And I think I was in New York. And I think it was Danny DeVito was hosting. So George and I both did it. And then we wound up doing a couple other things. They did a movie. They wrote a movie for it. And we were supposed to do the movie, but it was Chris Farley was so huge at the time, and they wanted to build it around his character.
Yes.
Chris passed away.
Oh.
And it was one of those things that was it. That kind of put the nix on doing the movie version of it. But the movie, we wound up doing a couple readings of it in Chicago for charity, and we had Ditka come in and actually do it with us. And in typical Ditka form, we did two performances. He did the first one. We took a dinner break. He went out to dinner with his wife and forgot there was a second one. And so didn't come back. But luckily there was I forget what pitcher was. One of the pitchers for the White Sox came to the second one when we got him to do Ditka's part.
You got him to do Ditka's
Yeah, he came in
part.
because we're reading off scripts anyway.
Well, Hurricane, Ditka, right? Who wins more? Who wins the fight? A Hurricane or Ditka? I mean, all of that.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
the mini Ditka. Yeah, we got a mini Ditka. Mini Ditka. If the whole team was shrunk, maybe they'd only win by 35 points. But you know, that kind of
you slip right back into it, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh! And Farley, sometimes he would just like. He would pound his chest like he was starting his heart up again, right? Because he was having a heart attack.
He was unbelievable. There was one skit we had because you always do more skits than you need. In other words, when you're rehearsing for Saturday Night Live, because they want to have plenty just in case something happens, and also just to keep you on so that they can make a last minute change before you go to airtime and say, well, we're going to cut this skit, and that one, or whatever. But he had this one skit where we were all like. It's almost like in Mississippi or something on a porch, all talking like this and smoking corncob pipes. And he did a thing where I forget what the even skit was, but he leaped off of the porch, like up in the air, and landed on his stomach. I thought he's got to be dead, but that was Chris. No, he jumped up and was like, and I think that's probably why they cut that skit.
They cut it. It never made it.
We never aired it because I think they thought we can't have Chris do that because next time he might bust his head open.
We might actually do something like that.
But he was great.
So again, George Wendt was not in the first. You were in the first.
I was in the first. I was in the original one. And then George came in a few weeks later when he hosted the show, and they made him my brother. I think I was Bob Swerski. He was Bill Swerski, or vice versa. I can't even remember.
Well, so, I mean, is the skit, it's got to be over 30 years old now, right?
Well, I hosted it in 1991. It was January of 91. So that's how long.
That's how long. And it's still resonates. Like, people still talk that way. People still say that about the Bears, and it's not like, I've heard that before. It actually works.
That's because their Bear fans still talk like that, and you can go over there, and they're going to, we had this restaurant, Taste Chicago, for 16 years in Burbank, my wife's restaurant. Mm-hmm. And so every Sunday we'd have the Bear fans come there, and it was just unbelievable, just as you can imagine. And we saw the Super Bowl there. Of course, they lost that Super Bowl to Indiana, but anyway,
it's great stuff, man.
It's great stuff.
It is exactly that. I would love to see it done, one more time. I mean, Smigel can write it, right?
Yeah.
Mike Myers is coming back. He's playing Elon Musk every now and then, so he's clearly in the mix there.
I'm game.
Let's get you out there,
sure,
and then George Wendt out there.
Get George.
Let's do it again.
Fry up a couple Polish, that's all we got to do.
And now you can add Da Pope.
And Da Pope. We got Da Pope. Who's got Ernie Banks' number?
Who knew? I had no idea. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.